What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Sanders, or Carlos, or whatever you want to call me. So, this is going to be my response to WWE.com's countdown of the top 10 fantasy matches that never happened. Alright, now I'm going to say this. This is a positive list. I actually do really like this list. And you know what? I want to say, like, you know what? I don't like it when people just respond to just negative things. So I'm going to, like, give my opinion on each of these. Number 10 on their list was the Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh, yeah, versus the Straight Edge Savior, CM Punk. This just sounds beautiful. This has the same sort of setup as Jericho versus Punk. But of course, this is fantasy, so I could say they were given free reign to do whatever the hell they wanted. If they wanted to, they could bring up fucking Randy Savage being on cocaine against CM Punk being straight edge. Who cares if I go a little on the other side or something like that? I don't know. I could see Macho Man doing something like that. I know some people are going to say that's disrespectful or whatever. But come on, this just sounds amazing. Two amazing promo artists, two amazing ring generals. That match would be fucking sick. It's too bad, you know, obviously can never happen. You know, but I love the editing on this. Number 9 is something that obviously never could happen ever, and that's Dude Love versus versus Mankind versus Cactus Jack. Obviously, this match will never happen, can never happen. You know, but just the idea of it, the idea of the three most ridiculously hardcore motherfuckers with three of the most ridiculously contrasting personalities ever facing off against each other, it would be incredible. But obviously, it's not possible. They're all the same guy, you know. But assuming I had to be more realistic about who I would put in this is the hardcore sort of thing. What I don't like is that they say this is a fantasy matchup, and it's like, and they say, oh, it's just a regular match. Dude, mate, these guys are fucking hardcore. Put them in a steel cage. Shit. The amount of awesome that cage would hold would be unrivaling. All right. But like, if I wanted to go with a hardcore theme, it would be Mick Foley would be one of them. Terry Funk, they've wrestled dozens of times, but the other guy, I'm thinking I would have 4 guys instead of 3. I would have it be Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Sabu. You know, Sabu is a hardcore motherfucker, and I know he's faced Mick Foley and Terry Funk respectively, but I don't think they've ever been in the same match. And I would actually have a 4th competitor. It may sound kind of strange, but Vince McMahon. If you've ever looked at, like, Vince McMahon's street fights, it is the most incredible thing you will ever see in your life. You know, but of course, I would fucking have this be, actually, I wouldn't have them be in a cage on second thought. I think I would just have them be in a street fight. Like, have them go all over the place, do the most ridiculous shit in the world. Like, Vince McMahon, if you've ever seen Vince, he'll take the roughest bumps in the world and start blading. He'll take a pathetic bump and start blading. Like, there's a match I saw in the Vintage 2003 DVD. He's against Zach Gowen, a guy with one leg. Barely drop kick, does a single leg drop kick against Vince McMahon. Like, oh, hits a chair, runs to the Vince McMahon. He starts blading like a motherfucker. He is just pouring. The blood is just pouring down his head. How fucking awesome would he be in this sort of thing? And again, this is obviously fantasy, so it's like, oh, imagine the fucking promos cutting. Like, just the self-argument between Mick Foley trying to decide, oh, who's gonna come out? Is it gonna be Dude Love? Is it gonna be Cactus Jack? Is it gonna be, Mankind? You know, that itself would be sick. And their number 8 fantasy matchup was the Fabulous Moolah versus Trish Stratus. This is the standard sort of thing, you know. Here's the thing. In WWE, the women's wrestling division has never really ever been, like, truly important. The only times that it's ever gotten, like, that big thing is when there's a certain rivalry that is truly important. One of them was Trish versus Lita, and I think Trish has a more stable record as opposed to Lita, because Lita, again, was sloppy. Trish was sloppy as well, but she wasn't, like, I'd say she was still, like, somewhat consistent. And of course, Moolah, like, considered probably the best women's wrestler of all time on many people. She still holds the record for the most absurdly long reign of a women's championship ever. So it does kind of give that vibe of next gen, old gen, and that of course does sound pretty awesome. Now, this next one is theoretically impossible in so many funny ways. The Four Horsemen versus Evolution. This match does sound pretty fucking awesome. I gotta admit, like, just the idea that all these main eventers facing off against each other, like, in a tag team match, that sounds incredible. And you know what? I would have to have the rules be, like, a Survivor Series elimination style match. Like, if it was my fantasy match, I would make it an elimination match, just so everybody could do something. You know, again, this sounds incredible, but at the same time, it's like, how the fuck is Ric Flair going to be facing off against himself? Because the Four Horsemen here, I haven't brushed up on my Horsemen that much, so I only recognize Arn Anderson and Ric Flair. But Ric Flair is on both sides. You know, if I was to redo this, I would have it be the Four Horsemen versus the second generation of Degeneration X. I would have it be Triple H, Shawn, X-Pac, and the New Age Outlaws. That's how I would do it, and I think that would be pretty fucking epic, especially in like a Survivor Series style elimination match. Again, another one where it's like it's the old guard versus the newer guard. Andre the Giant versus Big Show. This match would be so insane. Like, assuming both these guys were in good health, because if you've ever seen a lot of Big Show's old stuff as the Giant, you know he was absurdly fast. He was absurdly agile for his size. Andre, you've seen a bunch of his early stuff. He is ridiculously agile. You know, he is ridiculously, you know, fast for how big he is. Just those two in their prime as a fantasy match would be freaking gargantuan. Like, I would actually have it be at one point that they would fall through the ring because someone tries to suplex the other one and the ring just gives out. I think that would be awesome. But then again, that would make it impossible for this all to happen. God, this all plays out like just some big fantasy WrestleMania card. And you know what? That sounds pretty amazing to me. This would be the greatest event in the history of man if any of this happened. Alright. Now, the next, I believe this is number 4. No, number 5. The number 5 is Legion of Doom versus the Dudley Boys. I would expand upon this so much. Because the Dudley Boys, the match they're most well known for. Like, I don't think anyone will deny this. Probably their best match ever, arguably the best tag team match ever, is the TLC matches. So I'm thinking, why not expand upon that? You know, Legion of Doom versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys. You know what? I would keep fucking going. I would go to 6 teams. I would add 2 more. I would definitely add Los Guerreros, because I would definitely, that's just me. I would fucking add that, dude. But the other one I would add, the Outsiders. The Outsiders from WCW. I would definitely add them, you know. How fucking awesome would that be? Even though Kevin Nash would probably tear his quad trying to climb the ladder again. I'm surprised he didn't the last time he was in a ladder match. But I think that would be just an awesome contrast of styles between all these things. Claustrophobic, maybe, but again, this is fucking fantasy. You could assume that these guys are all in their prime. This is going to be the best match they're ever going to have. Who would I have win? I'm an Eddie Guerrero guy. I know I would have him light shooting steel to get this. You know, it's no DQ. And here's the thing. Definitely, I would have this be a 6-way TLC match. That would be the most incredible shit in the world if that was real. Coming up on number 4 here, we got, like, this one. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god, the idea of it all just makes me mark out so fucking much. The idea of an I Quit match between Kurt Angle and Bret Hart. Does that not sound like the most incredible thing in the world? I mean, these are two guys who are built as, like, you know, really sticking to who they are, sticking to what they believe in. So to have them go in an I Quit match is just fascinating. And of course, Kurt Angle is arguably one of the best technical wrestlers ever, one of the best wrestlers in history. Bret Hart, the fucking excellence of execution, the guy who can do anything that he really wants to do, and this in an I Quit match. However, I would add something to this. I would have Scott Steiner. I would have Scott, you don't get my simpy at all, Steiner, as the special guest referee, because I would love it if he was just there saying, hey Kurt, what do you say? That would be the fucking greatest thing in the world. Just Scott Steiner there talking would instantly make this the greatest match ever. But also on commentary, I don't like whatever team I would have. Probably like I don't know, like Jim Ross and Bobby Heenan. That would be that would be an amazing fantasy commentary team. But along with them, I would have, just for this match, Mr. Bob Backlund. That would be truly amazing. And WWE, for their, I believe this is number 3, they put, okay, they are fucking with the internet community. They are fucking with the internet wrestling community by putting this at number 3. Sting versus The Undertaker. Like, this was rumored last year, and everyone was fucking amped to see it. You know, but then they found out, oh, it's just against Triple H. You know, but the idea of Sting versus The Undertaker, I haven't been impressed that much with Sting stuff, but just the idea of this, you know, the dark guy from WCW versus the dark guy of WWE, it is... The idea of the grandiose of it all, you know, far exceeds the actual quality of the match that is probably likely. But then again, he's like Undertaker at WrestleMania. If this was WrestleMania, of course this would fucking happen at WrestleMania. You know, that would be the most incredible sort of vibe you could get out of it. You know, even though, and of course, Undertaker puts his fucking A game on. Like, I don't know what Sting had in the '90s because I haven't seen that much Sting. Especially when he turned into Crow Sting, but damn, that would be fucking stunning. Number 2, I marked out so fucking hard for this. Initially, my thoughts when I saw CM Punk versus Macho Man, I was like, yeah, that could work, but I would have Macho Man versus Rock. But then I saw this, and I thought, I never thought of this! Shawn Michaels versus The Rock! Like, it's weird when you think about it that Shawn Michaels and The Rock have never actually faced off. Shawn Michaels, like, big time career and his prime pretty much ended at 1998. Rock rose at about that time. Rock hit his peak, left for the movie industry, and just before that came in Shawn Michaels, but he was on Raw and The Rock was on SmackDown. So by just odd timing, this has never happened. But these are like the 2 most charismatic wrestlers ever. Like, no one has ever been as good as these 2 in terms of just drawing the crowd in to what they're doing. Oh my god, if this happened, this would be the most electrifying moment in the history of wrestling ever. But of course, I called this one as soon as it came up. I said, what is the number 1 fantasy match that has never happened? Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was the match that's supposed to happen. That was supposed to have happened at WrestleMania 18, and you know, it didn't happen due to a number of problems. But holy shit, the old guard, the master of the 80s versus the guy who defined the Attitude Era. This would have been the biggest match ever. Like, people say that with, like, John Cena and Rock, that was one era versus another. But this is one era where, you know, it captured the imagination of so many people versus another era that captured the imagination of the public. How fucking huge would that have felt? And the thing is, Hogan, as, you know, as bad as people say Hogan is, as bad as people say Austin is for various things, when they... like, have the spotlight, when they have to be on, they are fucking on, you know. And of course, with all these fantasies, you can say, oh, well, this is a good day for whatever. And that would have been the top drawing thing ever. That would have been amazing. And you know what? I gotta say, this was an awesome list that they put up. I love this fucking thing. The only thing is, like, obviously they're gonna ignore certain companies, like, you know, TNA, ROH or whatever. So honestly, one that I would have put in as an honorable mention, or I'll suggest as an honorable mention, my dream match, Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles one-on-one, more proper, like more experienced AJ. I don't know if this has happened like in indie scene or something, because I know there was I did find one match online of CM Punk versus Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, and so you never know what has really happened and what hasn't. But damn, this was an awesome list. I gave my 2 cents on it. I don't disagree with a lot of these fantasy matches. And again, it's kind of personal taste. But yeah, this would make for the most incredible WrestleMania card ever if it happened. But I guess it didn't. So that this has been Mr. Sanders giving my thoughts on this little list, and catch y'all later.